Yeah, hi, good morning to, or good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of the day you're listening to this. Welcome to episode 59. This is a Cigar Hustlers Podcast, and this week, they're talking to me, Michael Knight. I hope you enjoy the show.
Okay, it's on.
You always start with that. That's like your go-to.
That's my thing.
Makes you more comfortable.
I should have adjusted my microphone. I think it's falling down.
I don't think mine works anymore. It just kind of...
Well, I turn yours off anyway most of the time.
If you did that, then there'd be nothing. There'd be nobody talking.
It's a more interesting show because they don't know who I'm interrupting.
See, here's the thing: is if you turn me off, then you'd have nobody to interrupt, and you'd have nothing to fucking say.
But I can still hear you. They can't.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out who I'm interrupting.
Whatever.
Do you interrupt?
Yes. Constantly.
So we have a special guest today,
Yes, we do.
a Mr. Michael Knight.
Well, you complained the last 2 weeks that I had no show content.
You never do.
Well, this week, I brought the entire show.
So we have a gentleman with us from the other side of the pond who doesn't smoke cigars.
Doesn't smoke cigars.
See how the mic just goes. Woo.
I'm not sure why I'm here.
Did you
I
say
don't
his
smoke
name?
cigars.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Say hello, Michael.
Hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening.
Oh, God damn it. This is going to be a rough show. Fucking lighter's
get a lighter
fucked. I
to
can't
work.
find my other lighter.
That's the one you just threw. Right through. You'll tunnel and canoe through the whole thing.
We'll make do. Oh, man. I don't know if I'll make do.
Okay, anyway, Michael Knight's a friend of my family.
Yes.
We met him several years ago.
Okay, so...
I'll stop talking now.
Okay, but... you want to get right into just talking to Michael Knight?
No, if you got something to talk about.
I'm okay with
what
either.
have you been doing?
It's boring? It's
We're
boring
boring
to you?
him already. We're already boring him.
All right, I got a question for you. Have you ever heard of a guy by the name of Minhoff?
I've never heard of a guy called Minhoff.
So have you ever heard of the Minhoff
No.
method?
I don't know. Is that some type of proctology exam?
No, it's pretty cool, actually.
Yes.
So, I like to read, right? So,
You want a new thing? Are you going to only eat between the hours of 3 and 7? And
no, it's worse than that.
Has to be raw eggs.
It's fucking it's way worse
You can
than
only chew
that.
on the left side of your mouth with the right foot in the air.
It is way worse than that. So Minhoff is this guy who's actually a Guinness World Book holder for a couple of great feats, and he climbed Kilimanjaro and Everest in shorts.
In shorts?
Yeah, so he's a guy that's all about
Being cold?
extreme. Yeah, they call him the Iceman.
Oh.
So he has a theory.
Batman?
No,
No.
that was Arnold Schwarzenegger. So he has a theory that being exposing yourself to cold and like target stressing your body actually boosts your immune system.
What about if you just expose yourself?
I mean, I'm sure that helps too in some methods. I'm not 100% positive, but I bet you it will at least help your tan lines. So it starts with like cold showers. You start doing cold showers.
Oh, my Lord.
So I'm starting to do that.
Cold shower. Have you seen that cold therapy? Where you get into the little cylinder and they
cryogenic thing.
Yeah, I've seen it on Shark Tank.
Blah, blah, blah.
And on the Housewives. The Housewives do it.
So it's probably similar to that.
Okay. So you take a cold shower.
Yeah. It's pretty fascinating. I feel better.
Well, when I lived on the farm, I outdoor showered every day, and it was just from a hose. So, I mean, it was
cold.
cold. There was no hot water.
Chilly.
No hot water. But I didn't know it was a thing.
It's pretty badass. There's also breathing methods too that he does.
So how long have you been doing the cold shower?
Since Friday. I mean, I only got to that part of the book on Friday. But hey, I shower.
You're yelling, Brittany, turn the hot water heater off.
How many times do you
Look at
shower a
this.
day?
Once to twice.
Okay, so I definitely shower at least twice a day.
So, how's your sex life now you're taking cold showers?
I mean, my sex life is always consistent. I'd say.
Always consistent.
They're
I'd say
young.
firm.
They're young.
Firm to strong. So I'm not really that concerned about that. I'll let you know if I grow an extra inch, though. That'd be
good.
fantastic. Not obviously during the cold shower, but afterwards.
Right.
But I wanted to mention that. I wanted to bring that up to
So
you.
what else do you do besides a cold shower?
So there's like this whole breathing thing of like a process you're supposed to do on an empty
So
stomach.
you don't get the hypothermia when you're in the cold shower.
Well, you're supposed to kind of take it in small doses, right?
So quick cold
like
showers.
you start. No, well, eventually you build up to being able to sustain in like a cold ice bath for like 20 minutes.
So it's like cold and turn to hot.
No.
Cold,
No, just cold. Just cold.
but short cold.
No, well, you turn it on to cold, and then like you start with your feet, then you work up your legs, and then you kind of get your whole body in up to your head, and then you kind of sustain for however long you're comfortable in there. If you can stay within a minute or two, or the longer you stay, the better. It's just like stressing any other, like when you work out your muscles.
Yes.
Like, could you put 500 pounds on a bench right now and do a bench
no.
press? Right.
No.
So what would you do? You'd start lighter.
Not with my feet, though.
No, but this is a different form of target stress.
So just so I understand, you step into the shower and the water just hits your feet, and then the next time maybe you hit your feet up to your knees?
No.
Oh, it's all the same time?
Yeah, you
So
slowly
just
increase
gradually
until
get
you
in.
right.
Well, I do that, but I only use my hand. Turn the water on, stick my hand in.
Yeah, but you gotta-
it's cold, so I pull my hand back out, and
Because you're a sissy lala.
What is the purpose? Why are you doing this?
Well,
because
apparently,
he read it in a book.
apparently, it restricts. It does some kind of restriction to your veins.
Yeah, it shrinks
and-
up your
Blood
veins.
pressure
and-
and stuff?
Right, and forces them. Right, so it supposedly helps boost your immunity, boost your tolerance, helps your blood pressure, overall circulation of the blood.
Did you just happen upon this book, or did someone tell you about it?
So, well, actually,
You're Googling ways to make myself more uncomfortable while I work out?
no, my buddy Greg actually mentioned this guy that I looked up. This guy by the name of Ross Edgley. So the book that I'm reading is called The World's Fittest Book.
And Ross Edgley? Is that
Yeah,
his name?
he actually-
mentions the Frozen guy.
Yeah.
Oh.
He mentions the Frozen guy. He actually just swam around Great Britain
You did.
All the way
Yeah.
around the island?
all
Yeah.
the way around.
He did. That's right.
I heard that on the
So
news.
you know that guy.
I don't know him personally, but I watched him on TV most days.
Yeah, so
Right.
no, I figured they all knew each other. It's a small island.
So you see the link here? That's why I bring these things up,
Oh.
right? See what I did there?
That's clever. The link.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's almost like as if I know what the fuck I'm doing.
I feel back in the day, you would have been the one that bought the snake oil from the guy
Nope.
going around.
Definitely wouldn't have been
Drink
that guy.
this, it'll make
I'm going
you
to get a lighter.
stronger.
I'll be right back.
Oh, he's leaving the show.
I'm going right
All right, well, we'll just take a break right now.
Yeah, there's a lighter right here.
And we need to start taking breaks, so when the commercials start rolling in.
That's never gonna happen.
Yes, it is. So we're on break right now. Okay,
So
we're
yeah,
back.
so Ross
Thank you very
Ross
much.
Edgley, he's a young buck. He's like in his I think mid-30s or something like that. He's probably about my age.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah,
fascinating
he-
dude.
Yeah, he was. It was followed with great interest at home. That was one hell of a feat going around like he did. It was a tremendous feat and well applauded by everybody. And I think he looked a bit crinkly when he came out of the water at the end.
I'm sure he did.
Shrinkage.
He does Minhoff. He does the Minhoff method too. So he also did a triathlon with a tree attached to him.
What?
Yeah.
What, you mean he was branching out?
Yeah, something like that. But Michael's good for jokes.
Yes.
So
Wait, how did he have a tree attached? Like he's carrying a tree?
on a bicycle, in the water,
How big a tree
and
are we
running.
talking?
I don't know. You have to look.
Sapling?
It sounds
A big redwood?
from the way he was talking about it, doesn't sound like it was fun. I can tell
Well,
you.
I would
that. I can
imagine
tell you that
not.
much. I am really close to having this thing lit and rocking and rolling here.
Oh, the show will be over by then.
There you go.
So hey, Michael, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on your show.
Yes. Thank you for coming. So
Had to pay for my own coffee this morning, guys.
Well, it was just after the speech of no more free coffees.
you know, the
so-
struggle is real here. So
Right.
is what it is. So how did you go about meeting our dear friend here, Mr. Palmer,
The Prez.
the Prez of the Florida
I'm
Cigar?
even known as the president of Great Britain, just so you know.
Yeah, but you didn't know shit about Ross Edgley.
I don't know the Michael Hoff or whoever from Baywatch was either.
Minhoff.
Oh. Is he German? Sounds like a German name.
I don't know.
Excuse me, ask me a question. Can
Yeah.
I
Oh,
get
sorry.
in or-
Is he German? Minhoff.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Thank
It's
you
not
very
the
much.
same as Paddy.
I'm sorry. I won't stop interrupting. He asked you a question.
So Michael has a tendency to just interrupt people mid-sentence.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an American thing, is it?
It's my thing. It's
I don't-
my thing.
Just being
Yeah, I
fucking
think
rude.
it's just a Palmer thing.
Yeah.
To a point where I've had people contact me and be like, God damn it, that guy just never lets you talk. And I go, no shit.
That's why we're so popular. It's a drinking game. Every time I interrupt, they take a drink.
Okay. So I had a friend called Sarah who used to go to school with my eldest daughter in England, and she now lives over here. We were keeping in contact via Facebook, and Mr. P over there begged if he could be my friend on Facebook. I consulted Sarah first of all, and she said he's an alright guy, he's not bad. So we became friends like that, and we just conversed with each other over Facebook, a few photos, this, that and the other. And
like dick pics, or was it standard? Like,
no, they were just standard. I did ask him.
Standard dick pics.
I did ask him for a dick pic, but he said he was embarrassed and wouldn't do it.
Well, it's all the cold water.
So I fancied a cheap holiday, so I said, can I come over? And he said, yes, please. That was a couple of years ago. That's when I met you.
Right.
For the first time. I had free coffee then. And,
hey, you had free beer earlier.
The novelty's worn off, I think, now. So, yeah, that's how we became friends, and here I am on my second visit. He did say that he was going to come and visit me, but apparently they got shit scared of the bombs and things that we have occasionally.
Well, we were going to go a couple of years ago is when they started bombing the train stations and things, and they go, there's a nasty hum on this.
So
No
fix
idea what
it.
it's from. It's feedback from something.
But the part of country where I live, we don't... are we talking? Are we live?
It was Michael's phone, too close. Okay, you got to get off
My
the table.
phone's off.
Nope, that's not it.
Well, that's good, Mike. Glad you got together.
Is it working now?
King producer.
It works,
of the
but
show.
there's a hum, and it's new. It just started.
You want to take a break?
Okay, no. It just stopped again. It's something Michael's doing.
What am I doing?
Touch your microphone.
Touch it?
No, you had your hand on it. You've been holding on to it. That's it. Don't hold your microphone.
Son of a bitch.
So,
Don't
but
do
where I
anything.
live, we don't have. I live in a sleepy town called Christchurch, which is on the outskirts of a holiday town called Bournemouth. We don't have bombs and things like that.
So,
occasionally,
we have to go through the bomb areas to get to you.
Yeah, but occasionally there's a main headline in the local paper that a Wendy house has been stolen from a garden, and everybody's shocked.
So you're a big fucking baby, pretty much. You don't want to leave. It's not like he lives in North Korea or some shit, dude.
No.
It's
But
great
when
fucking
we were
Britain.
going was when they were having terrorist
Attracts?
terrorist attacks.
Is that like a ride?
In
Like
England.
roller coaster or some shit?
It is. It's very scary. There's a big boom at the end.
Yeah, but what were the terrorist attacks? Like they get in a car and they run people over.
Let's
So
see, there
don't-
was,
so stay in
that
your car.
Poison gas in the train system.
Mm-hmm.
There was people running over people with knives.
Okay, that just sounds like a fucking day in
Look,
the
you don't like
Bronx.
to leave
I
your
mean,
house, so like a day where
the Bronx.
in the Bronx. I'm not going there either.
So, like, I mean, this shit happens all the time. It's not a big deal.
It was several years
You let the
ago.
media get to you, Michael. That's the problem.
That's the way it works. Better
Yeah.
safe than sorry.
You live in fear.
I don't live in fear.
You
I
missed
come
this.
here every
You
day.
missed an opportunity, and
I can still go anytime. He's got his own Airbnb. Would you like to plug your Airbnb?
Yeah, you can plug my Airbnb. I get very busy. I get quite a few people from the States actually come and stay with me.
There you go.
You just
But
just look up Christchurch, UK. Don't confuse it with Christchurch, New Zealand, because you'd be in a completely wrong place if you went there. So Christchurch, UK, and my one, if you want to look it up, it's got a picture of beach huts as the main feature. They're not just ordinary beach huts. They cost just over £250,000 each, which I suppose is about $270,000. Why people want to pay that for a piece of wood on a beach, I don't know, but they do. It's a special beach, and I'm lucky enough to live there.
Well, it's Christ Beach. What is it?
Christchurch.
Yeah. So
Christchurch.
that sounds
Where
holy.
Christ went tanning.
So, okay, so I guess every single major event in your life is linked to Facebook at this point, Mr. Palmer.
Apparently
because,
so, yes.
you fucking
Yes.
you meet everybody on Facebook.
Everybody's met on Facebook. It's where I found my wife, my friends,
Right.
my parents.
Even though you won't go see your friend in the UK.
No.
So, I'll eventually come over and see
It's
you.
a disappointment to
Right.
me, really. You can come over anytime
Yeah, I'll hit you up.
and charge you for fucking coffee if you do.
You can get an upgrade for the breakfast.
I'm
on
fine
the
with that.
Airbnb, So.
Yeah.
So, so what the hell did you do? What kind of a job do you have where you can just kind of up and go?
Well, I don't. I'm retired now. I just do one day a week as a consultant for a business. I used to be MD of a business, and the guy who owns it is a really, really nice chap. So I go back and help him out. I like doing that. Doesn't pay me a lot of money to do it, but I don't want him to pay me a lot of money to do it. I just like doing it. A bit like Mr. P comes in and helps you out sometimes.
Oh, we pay him nothing.
Yeah, I know.
That's totally different.
I know. He made me pay for breakfast this morning and told me that was the reason why.
The struggle is real.
So.
We just give him a key to the place, that's all.
Yeah, I used to be involved in, anything to do with water, irrigation. So we would export stuff to the Africas for irrigation, but also now big businesses, dust control. So quarries, waste transfer stations, dust control, odour control, anything to do with water and chemicals, that's basically what I'm involved in or was involved in. Now I just do what I call schmoozing.
Ah, a bit of schmoozing.
Yeah, a bit of schmoozing, a few free lunches, stuff like that.
So what do we do here that's so different in comparison to, like, what stood out as far as your visits here in comparison to the
everything?
UK?
Every time I come to America, I enjoy new experiences. I think I drive Michael crazy because I always want to do something different.
We try to find something to
food,
do that he didn't do last time.
Everything.
Someplace to go. Or
So if you want
to
to take this place, your Cigar Hustler shop, we don't have anything like that in America, in England, sorry. Well, if there is, I don't know about it. We just don't have anything like this over there. So this is a real experience to come in here. You know, I don't smoke. Just to see guys sitting there drinking port, which, by the way, we only have with Stilton cheese, and smoking cigars and a little social atmosphere going on. That's good. Don't have that.
Right.
Not quite that.
So cigar lounges are non-existent.
No, you want to start a franchise over there.
I don't know what the regulations would be, but everything in the
there might
UK
be a
is
reason they don't
expensive.
smoke inside. Maybe we're not allowed to.
Yeah.
No, you can't smoke inside, but I suppose if you had a cigar lounge, that might be different. I don't know. Interesting.
I wonder how you get it.
Maybe
yeah.
a side business for you.
Could be. Outside business, you
Out
mean.
by the beach.
Yeah, you can smoke outside.
Well, you know, in your garden.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a nice garden.
Yeah.
Well, you call it a yard.
Yes.
Yeah. I grow everything.
I like the fact that we were talking a little bit, Friday, and you were talking about how people get pissed. And for you, like, the term pissed, for us, pissed is like people are angry, but for you, it's like they're drunk.
Yeah, they're drunk. That's pissed. There's all sorts of words like that. I was telling Mr. P some stuff in the car earlier, and he's sort of scratching his head. He thinks bangers and mash is for breakfast, which of course it isn't. And he couldn't understand how we can have breakfast, 11s, lunch, afternoon tea, high tea, dinner, supper. He was a bit
Dinner and
baffled
supper's
by
two
all of
different
those.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, pissed is we can use that someone's pissed off. We can use that.
Right.
But pissed is drunk. Yeah, he's well gone. Pissed as a newt is the actual saying.
Pissed as a newt?
Pissed as a newt.
As a newt.
As a
He
newt.
could talk for an hour, and Adrian and I just look at each other like, what the fuck did he say?
Is that why she went to bed early last night?
That's why she gets headaches from the conversations.
She's got to run it. She's got to be in charge.
Yeah.
If she's not in charge, then it's no good.
So obviously the culture over here is totally different to us, but like Americans love English people or England. Maybe, I don't know, that's because of the historical content or not, but also we have a fond regard for Americans.
Right.
We're in many ways not dissimilar to you. We would describe Americans as being more gung-ho.
Right.
We would describe ourselves as being more stiff upper lip. But if we don't want to move, we're not going to move. So we like America, but we didn't like it when Obama said that if we came out of the European Union that we would go to the back of the queue. We didn't like that. We basically said, fuck you, we're going to come out anyway.
So you're happy about Brexit then?
There's a mixed thing in England. The youth are quite lazy in England. So when we had the initial vote and we voted to come out, all the young people revolted and said basically, how dare you take, Europe away from our children? And to which our reply was, well, if you got up off your asses and went and voted, then we would still be in Europe. But they didn't do that. So now they've got to live with it. I actually believe, as do many other people, that there's a movement within the government to hold a second referendum, which they're talking about now, hoping that it would reverse the decision that more people would vote to stay in Europe, because we don't think the government actually want us to come out, but the people want to come out of Europe. So along with most English people, we don't like people telling us what to do.
Right.
And what started off as a good thing with Europe ended up with them telling us what we could do, what we couldn't do, and we don't like that. You know, we want to export somebody because they're a terrorist, and we have to go through all sorts of procedures before we can do that, and they can appeal to the European Court, etc., 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 etc. And it takes a long time. We don't like that. We don't like being told what we can do and what we can't do.
Right. I don't think anybody does.
No. Well, some people are conditioned, I think. You know, you go to Japan, places like that, they're conditioned to go along and do what they're told. In China, places like that.
China's a lot like that. Nobody will take leadership for anything. If there's a table of 8 or 9 guys, they won't make a decision unless they all sit around and chit-chat and vote, and even if it's just where we're going for lunch.
Yeah.
Right.
Because nobody wants to make a bad decision.
Yeah.
Well, you told me stories before in the past where, you know, if somebody's hurt in China, you can't help them.
No, if you do, you're responsible for them.
Right.
Forever.
Forever.
So if somebody gets hit, everybody just keeps driving. Don't stop.
That's pretty amazing. So, I mean, like, you know, it's a big deal. Anybody, the royal family, babies, fucking marriages, the whole gamut, the United States eats that up, right?
Yeah, well, we love our royal family anyway.
Right.
So we do. They have no power, but we love them.
So, is there anybody in the United States that, you know, you guys are like, oh, hey, this is a big deal?
I think we follow Trump quite a lot. It was none of us could believe that he actually got elected to be your president.
Right.
But I spoke to another friend of mine who didn't vote for him in America, and I was quite impressed by what she said. And what she said to me was, I didn't vote for Trump, but he's our president.
Right.
So, you know, we've got to go along with what he's trying to do. And I think there's a glowing admiration, some of my friends may disagree, but I think there's a glowing admiration back at home for what he has done for your country.
Right.
You know, and he doesn't boast about it too much, or it doesn't seem to, other than on Twitter occasionally. That's why I don't have Twitter anymore. But I think he set out to, he said he was going to do some things, and I think he's setting out to do them, and it looks to me like he is.
It's crazy to hear a perspective from the outside, you know, because it's definitely interesting right now in the United States about him and, politics as a whole. So
you often get to see politicians in any country that was sort of swagger the swag and not necessarily do the walk.
Right.
I think he's doing the walk. You know, I think other presidents you've had sort of go along with the popular consensus. He's prepared to buck that. Whether that is always a good thing or not, I mean, all these guys that didn't get paid when you had that thing going on, I felt really sorry for those people.
Right.
But even some of those that we saw being interviewed on the telly still backed him.
Right.
Still backed him. I know that's something.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, he's not getting married anytime soon. He's not having any babies. So, like, you don't have anything like that. Like, do you guys follow the Kardashians or some shit? Is that like a big
Any
deal?
of our celebrities, movie stars or something?
I'm sure the younger generation probably follow some of those. I'm more into country now. I'm sort of big into your country music. I love it. Eric Church, people like that.
Nice.
Play them all the time on my car at home.
Do you watch any TV shows?
Yeah, of course.
You watch Peaky Blinders?
I love Peaky Blinders.
Do you really?
Absolutely, yeah, it's a new one just waiting to come out now.
Oh, we don't get to see it. We have to wait like 6 months.
I've got a Peaky Blinder cap. I've got everything. I love Peaky Blinders.
No shit.
That's a fabulous fact. You like it? You watch it?
Hell yeah.
You do?
Yeah, it's like one of 3 shows that I watch on the regular.
That's great, Peaky Blinders. Really, really good. Do you ever watch The Crown?
No.
That's a good show.
Yeah?
Yeah, the woman, who I can't remember her name, but the actress who plays the Queen, she is the Queen. She's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, really, really good.
What about Last Kingdom?
No, I haven't. No, I don't think I've seen that.
What's the one with
Great
Highclere
show.
Castle? What's
Downton Abbey?
Oh, I
Downton Abbey?
Downton.
Downtown.
Downton.
I'm an
Abbey.
American.
Downton Abbey.
Is that big in England?
It was. It's finished now completely.
Yeah, it's
There's
finished.
no more being made.
That's
They
big
might do
over
a
here.
Christmas special here and there, but there's no more. That was a great show. We watched that. Yeah, we like that. Up, upstairs and downstairs type.
There's a
class
friend of ours
distinction.
that has a cigar company who deals with the guy who lives at Downton Abbey.
Oh, in the real Downton
Yeah.
Abbey, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's open to the public. You can pay money. You can
Yeah.
go in and walk around.
Go check it out.
It's not that far from where I live, actually.
Oh, really?
You want to go there when you come visit?
Certainly.
Okay, we do it when we do Stonehenge.
Are you
at
going
the
to
same
provide
time.
armed fucking guards for this guy or
yeah,
what?
I need
he
an
won't
armed
be able to
escort.
bring his pea shooter in, that's for
can
sure.
Nick go? If Nick, if you'd like to meet me there, we can hang out.
The Loch Ness Monster?
Nick
But you want to meet Harry? You keep going on about
Yeah,
Harry.
I'd love to meet Harry. Harry's my favorite royal.
Yeah.
He's got all the power.
What is it that
no
attracts you?
responsibility at all.
What does it attract you to him? His ginger hair or what?
Yeah, I think that's what it is. He's
Is it?
kind of buff.
The ginger hair. No, it's because he can do anything he wants. But he doesn't have to do anything.
I've met some of the royal family, only very briefly. I mean, I was very, very lucky to meet them. I had dinner once at a place where Prince Philip was. I've seen the Queen, but not met her. I've spoken to Princess Anne, and I had the pleasure to speak to Prince Charles. You can't speak to them; they have to speak to you first, and then you can speak to them.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. So that was really special. And the Queen Mother, before she died, I think she was 101 when she died. I had a fantastic experience. Unfortunately, I lost my son, and so I was doing a big charity thing for 2 or 3 years. And we had good negotiations with the people the Broccoli family that produce James Bond films.
Right.
And so in England, the day before the new film would be released, they did this for 2 years. They would give it to us, so we could do our own premiere before it premiered. So each city would do a really big event. So in my case, I had the big searchlights going around the sky. Everybody had to come in DJs. Had the mayor there and everybody. We had lots of celebrities there, from people that I didn't know the celebrities, but people that I knew did. So they had loads of celebrities there. So it was a really big thing. But we, to make extra money, we would have loads and loads of show business people give us things which we could auction or have what we call a raffle tree. So all the restaurants would go on a raffle tree, and then you'd have other things, and then we'd have big prizes to auction. So, for example, in one of the films, when they had the BMW sports car,
right,
BMW provided a trip for 2 people to the Detroit Motor Show as a prize, which we auctioned on stage.
No kidding.
But I thought I'd chance my arm, and so I wrote a letter to the Queen Mother, who just incidentally was still alive at the time. And I asked if she would care to donate something that we could auction. And I didn't get a reply at all until 2 days before the auction. My phone rang, and this very posh-speaking woman said, "Oh, how do you do?" She was one of the Queen Mother's ladies in waiting, and she said, "Mr. Knight, the Queen Mother's had your letter. She apologises for not getting back to you, but she'd been in Canada." And she'd like to help, but obviously it's too late for now. So when you do another one, will you come back to us? So I said, well, it's still 2 days away. If she wants to give something, then I can get it collected from Clarence House where she lived. So she said, "Oh, okay, just a moment," and she went off. And then she came back on the phone, and she said, "Well, we can offer you one of 3 items." And one was a big cup and saucer, one was a Crown Derby small tea set, 3rd item I can't remember. So she said, "Which one would you like?" So I said, "Well, I'm not sure. Could you recommend one to me?" And she turned around and she said, "Mr. Knight is asking, Mum, which we would recommend." And the Queen Mother replied, the tea service. I actually heard her on the phone. "Oh, Mr. Knight, the tea service is rather nice." and so I had that. I was stunned. And not only did they do that, but they gave me a card from her as well that I could put with it to show it was genuine. So then how do you get it? So we didn't have a lot of time. So I contacted a local taxi company. And asked if they would do it. I tried to negotiate a fee, which I managed to do, because it's charity after all. We're trying to get as much as we can. So I had to ring their security and tell them the make of the car, the colour of the car, the name of the driver, etc., 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 for when he got there. And this guy turned up. He had a suit. He wore a 3-piece suit. And he had his hair all done and everything. I think he thought he was going to meet the Queen Mother and she was going to hand him this thing. But we got it down, and this was some time ago. And I think we sold that at auction for something like $2,000 for 4 cups and 4 saucers.
No kidding.
Yeah, that probably would have sold for, I don't know, maybe $20, $30 maybe, just because it had the card from the Queen Mother. And the following year, she gave me not the year, sorry, 2. I think it was the next James Bond. It could have been 2 or 3 years later. She gave me another gift as well, and we auctioned that. And I thought that was really, really nice.
So do you still do the charities?
No, unfortunately, my wife at the time, we divorced, and it wore us out because as part of our involvement, we would talk to people. It was cot death that I lost my son, so we would talk to people, and quite often it would be on the day that they lost their child.
Right.
And the Cot Death Foundation would give them our number, so we would get calls. Could be 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, of people that just want to talk. When someone has something like that happen to them, all they want to do is talk.
Right.
You know? My wife and I would walk down the street, and we'd see friends, and they would cross the road. Not because they didn't want to talk to us, but because they didn't know what to say. Well, in fact, we would be more than happy to talk about it because it was a release for us. One of the nicest things happened. I belong to an organisation called Round Table. You probably have something similar over here. And they had a raffle, and this guy won a bottle of champagne.
Mm-hmm.
And he had it delivered to me, bearing in mind that I just lost my son, so why would he give me champagne? You know, here's some champagne for you. And that gave my wife and I a lift, that someone would think like that.
Right.
So, yeah, so I was very appreciative. The royal family are very, very popular at home. Very popular.
I mean, that's got to be tough, man. I couldn't even imagine going through that.
Don't even try to imagine it. You get over it, but you never forget at all. My son is buried in a church, not a beautiful little church where my eldest daughter got married, not far from me. And when my mother died, she wanted her ashes put with him, so that's where it is. But no, you can't imagine it. I tried to give him. I'd been on business, and it was so funny because, well, not say funny, it wasn't funny. I'd stopped to have coffee with a colleague. If I'd got home, maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes earlier, maybe I could have done something, but I didn't. I tried to give him, my little baby, the kiss of life and all of that, and but it was all well too late.
Right.
Yeah, he was still warm. Yeah, it's horrible. But then I have a beautiful daughter now instead. Well, I have an elder daughter, but then my youngest daughter was born, Kelly, and she's the light of my life. I love her to death.
Yeah.
And her 2 children, my grandchildren, they're fantastic. Really brighten me up.
Grandkids are awesome.
Yeah, I've got 4.
4 of them?
Yeah, 4. Two fairly well grown up, and two little ones. Yeah, I love them.
Because you get to mess with them, you get to shake them up, you get to give them a bunch of stuff, and then
you try
and everything.
The outer ones, not so much now because they sort of not grow away, but they have busy lives. The little ones, I have them sort of every week on a Monday for a few hours, and in a couple of weeks' time, I've got them for a couple of days, and I'm taking them away somewhere nice just to have some fun in a fun park somewhere. I should look forward to that.
Nice.
I don't think they realise how much pleasure they give me. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love to be your grandkid if you're taking new ones.
What are you saying?
We can go on trips and stuff.
You're trying to. I'm not that old.
Things we know, like a lady in waiting,
right?
That we think of like a secretary, right? It's actually a lady, like a lord and lady. She's semi-royalty herself.
Lords and ladies are not actually. They're not really royalty as such, no.
So what is their level in the?
They're the upper class. They would be the upper class. They nearly always would be. They're not always ladies, but they would nearly always be ladies married to a lord, or they might be a duchess or something. A bit like your wife. She's a duchess.
Yes, my wife is a duchess.
She is?
She's technically related to Lady Di.
Yeah.
I've verified the paperwork.
I've seen the paperwork, and it goes back a long way, and there's a very good chance you could be related. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah,
so if there was some type of massive accident in England, the entire royal family was wiped out, they might come and tap her on the
God help us all. If the United Kingdom as we know it would be fucked. It'd be just over.
And I don't know if they got a crown big enough, Michael, for your head. So.
Right.
No, well, I would be a prince.
There was a movie about that back in the day with...
John Goodman.
Yeah.
King Harry or something like that was called. I talked about that the other night.
He had to put in a bowling alley.
With a flash bulb that went off or something wrong.
Yeah. Well, you got a fascinating story, man, and I can't believe that you put up with Mr. Palmer here on the regular basis. It's kudos to you for taking the leap, for becoming friends with some random guy on Facebook.
Oh, he's promised he's going to make me an honor, even though I don't smoke and I don't live in Florida.
He's going to
make me an honorary member.
Honorary member of the Florida.
FCC export.
Yes. Oh,
very nice.
Now
International. FCC International.
FCC.
I've got a picture of him and your brother to go on my freezer now as well.
That's nice.
That's
good. Very nice.
Very cool. I mean, you could look up my Instagram for photos. It'll just be pictures of my hand, unfortunately.
I notice that your right arm is much bigger than your left arm. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, because you know why.
The one part that's not in the cold shower.
I keep myself occupied. Do you have any questions for me or for him?
Well, I was. I've found out most things about you and your brother through Mr. P over there, and.
So none of it's true.
Yeah, none of that's accurate.
None of that's true.
I have to congratulate you because it seems like you have a unique working relationship with your brother. And you very kindly let me attend your monthly sort of sales meeting today, and I quite respected the fact that how you allowed the interaction between your staff and you. You're not sitting there telling them what to do.
Yeah, that doesn't
listening
work.
to them. That was quite good. So, I'd like to know what are your big plans for the cigar business as far as you're concerned?
I mean, my big plans. I don't think that they really exceed too much further past where we're at. You know, our wholesale operation is continuing to grow. On a retail level, I'm really kind of happy with what we have here. You know, maybe get a liquor license for this location. Obviously, we're focusing on a private lounge. But I don't believe in expanding retail to a massive extent. It's just not for me. Retail is a lot of hard work, and
So are you saying you'd rather be unique?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to kind of diversify this into its own special thing, which is kind of what it's obviously becoming. Also, you know, expand more on our production and our contact with additional retailers throughout the nation. I like to help those guys, you know, and always compare notes, if that makes sense, because a lot of retailers have different avenues, and they've done things differently. And normally when I'll go on a trip, if I see something that I like, I'll implement it into the shop. And I like to kind of share and compare. That's a big deal for me. But that's probably the extent of the cigar industry for me. You know, it takes up a big portion of my life, but it isn't going to be a huge focus once it's kind of capped at production and stuff.
So when you've capped it, because you see, I don't think what you're saying is probably true. It's probably true as you stand at the moment, but I think when you've achieved it and you've capped that, I think you'll want to do some more. So what about export?
Export's definitely a possibility. You know, it's just questions of production and where we lay as far as the what the factory can do for us. Mm-hmm. You know, we've definitely had conversations about that. You know, there are other markets out there for sure. Would
you be looking to Europe, or would you be looking sort of Far East, or?
Yeah, I think that both are definitely possibilities. Far East and Europe, it depends. The Romacraft family, they do business with the Schusters, so they're really big in Europe, and they handle the majority of the distribution there. So that could be a path in the future. Mm-hmm. Who knows?
What about, how do you feel, can I ask you this, how do you feel about all the controversy about the gun laws in this country?
Oh, how do I feel about gun laws?
Yeah, because people outside of America don't truly understand the gun culture. So we see news so many times of school shootings and other things like that. So, and everybody says, you know, why the fuck they have guns? Well, they just get rid of guns.
Right. So I think that, you know, gun laws as a whole look, at the end of the day, is our system broken in so many ways? Yes. But with that being said, I've gone to other places where people have protested, or I've heard stories of people protesting, and they've been told to clear out, and when they didn't, they were just shot by their government. So that's a problem.
But not in Europe and not in America.
No, not in America, because America's armed. You know,
back.
You know, so I mean, I think that for one, Mike's choking, which I love.
I'm dying over here.
I just believe that people have a right to be free, right? People, as a community as a whole, it shouldn't be difficult to take care of the people that need to be taken care of. Determining where that line is where everybody kind of gets upset and kind of in a tivy, right? Take care of the people. I don't need the government to save me from myself. I don't need a Surgeon General warning on every single fucking thing that exists in the world. I think that's just ridiculous, So, do I think that they should do a better job of protecting our kids and our future and our schools? Absolutely. Do I think that they should be taking away our guns? No, I don't think they should be taking away our guns. So,
I'm an admirer of your, what do you call it, a home guard, is it? Is that what it's called?
Protection?
Homeland Security? Or
Homeland Security, yeah. I'm a big admirer of that it's a dedicated force to do. I mean, I was saying to people at the airport when I came in, they were in the queues through immigration, they were just moaning and groaning, bearing in mind they'd already done an extra form, etc., etc.
You're talking about customs?
Yeah. But nevertheless, you've got Homeland signs all over,
right,
and people moaning and groaning about the times coming through that it took to get through. And I said to them, okay, so listen, they might have gun problems over here, but you don't have terrorist problems,
right?
Do you?
Well, I think we do, but not to a crazy extent. And I mean, hell, all they had to do is just destroy 2 really big buildings for it to become a significant problem that needed to be addressed.
I was involved in the Harrods bombing. Do you remember the Harrods bombing?
No.
It's very famous in England. You've heard of Harrods, the store Harrods?
No.
You never heard of Harrods?
No.
Harrods, I thought, was probably the most famous store in the world. It's you got your Macy's in New York.
It's like a big department store.
It's a huge. It was the man that Lady Di was having an affair with. Her father owned Harrods.
Okay.
And there was an IRA bomb in there. And I was inside the store with my first wife, and we were doing some shopping for Christmas. And we were on the top floor. And this announcement came out. Would all departmental managers report to the manager's office? Would all departmental managers report to the manager's office? And I was in retail at the time. And that's not an announcement that goes out. That doesn't happen. You could have a departmental manager go to the manager's office, but not all of them. So I said to my wife, just put everything down, we're going. And she said, what are you talking about? We've been in the queue. I'll just put everything down, we're going now, come on. We get in the lift. No, we're not getting in the lift. Out. We walked out through the door. Just got literally around the corner and the bomb went off. And that was horrific. I couldn't hear for days. There was a Nobby hotel opposite, and I was staying there in the hotel. They were amazing because they were bringing in police that were being blown and bleeding everywhere, and they really looked after them. And then, as these things go, we received a call ourselves from the police in the hotel to say that our burglar alarm at home was going off. And would we be able to come back? And we weren't allowed to go out of the hotel.
Right.
But eventually, this very brave young hotel worker said, I would take you to your car. Our car was parked in the Harrods car park, which was not near Harrods. It was on the other side of the road. It was underground. So we walked all around Hyde Park, and we kept being stopped by police all the way. And this brave young man said, because it was very scary. You're walking past in the middle of the night with nobody on the street, and you're walking past cars, and for all you knew, there was something else in that car that was going to go boom at in a minute.
Right.
And we got to where the cars were parked. There's a policeman at the top, and he asked why we were there, and I explained to him, and he checked, and he said, yes, okay, you can get. I said, you're going to come down with me? And he said to me, you're having a laugh, and you said, you think I'm going down there? No way. You want your car, you go and get it. And I went down. I had a Volvo estate at the time, and I went down, and I laid and looked all underneath the car as if somebody would ever dream of putting anything on my car. And we went home. But I mean, that's a really scary situation.
Sure.
So I understand very much the stance that America takes against terrorism. Very much so. I do.
Well, I mean, you live something firsthand.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but you don't forget things like that too easily.
When was that bombing?
Oh, blimey, I can't remember the year. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
A long time ago. It was famous at the time, I thought. So I'm surprised you don't know, but then again, you're so young.
Right. I'm a millennial.
Yeah.
Lazy fucks.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
We did nothing.
Yeah.
Nope. Come and go as you please.
That's it.
Blame everything on the producer.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, at least I'm here. At least I'm on time.
But thank you guys
You are not here on
for
time.
being so hospitable. I'm not talking to Mr. P at the moment because
of course
apparently
not.
I'm taking him out tonight and paying him. But,
Yeah, I'm going to run up that tab as much as possible.
but for the two
More
brothers,
champagne, please. Champagne over here.
but for the Hustler Brothers, thank you. It's been great.
Yeah,
Twice I've been in your country, twice I've been in your venue, and It's been really nice. You've made
Yes,
me
you
feel
have to
welcome.
change it again when he comes back in 2 years.
I never had to pay for coffee before, but okay.
We appreciate you coming out, and we do appreciate your time, and
And we appreciate you paying for the coffee.
and it's good to learn, about your culture and your points of view in life and your perspective, because it's fascinating to me. I've never experienced any of it, so.
Well, you should come to my country. I can do you a good deal.
I can assure you that
My
it's going to
Airbnb.
happen sooner than Mr. Palmer will be going. So,
Okay, I'll take that bet.
Oh,
yeah,
You'd like to make a bet? We can make a bet.
sure.
Okay.
that's because your missus is giving you pressure now. But she's stating next June you can win this bet if you go before.
Yeah, you go before next June. When she finishes her recent degree, she wants to go there to celebrate.
Go and plug the degree. She's a clever girl.
It doesn't matter. I can
clever
just
girl.
fake some headlines and fucking email it to
Yeah.
her and say,
Yeah.
terrorist attack.
Hey, by then the wall might be up and we can't leave. Not that people can't get in, we can't leave.
Side note before we close this out,
Yes.
the War Bear pick.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Stop touching the microphone every time
I
you
had to
touch
adjust it. I
hums.
had to adjust it.
Stop adjusting.
So-
Ask me. I can touch the back.
That's just weird. So the
Are you going to
Wojtek.
give it to me to put up?
Yeah, the Wojtek we have an image,
He has a new cigar coming out. That's what we're discussing.
Oh, okay.
and I think that it's best that we share it on the podcast
Oh,
Instagram.
certainly. That'll be great.
So we're going to take the picture. I'm going to give it to Mr. Palmer, and Mr. Palmer will put it up on a Cigar Hustlers Podcast Instagram. So if you want to check it out, it's pretty badass. It's a bear.
Is that the one you sent me from Nicaragua?
Yeah, it's a bear, and he's rocking the Postania necklace, and
But what about the flavour of the cigar? Is it light? Is it heavy? Is it spicy?
I'd call it more of a.
Tastes like a bear.
I'd call it more of a medium full. What's really unique about it is it's a barber pole, so it has a Habano with a San Andreas barber pole, and because its shape is a perfecto, there's a lot of complications to it. It changes throughout the entire cigar.
What, the complex of the taste?
Yeah, it's very complex, and it's super good. I mean, I
It
was
is very
really,
good.
really
It's-
impressed with it.
I can't think of the word. It's not a badge, but it's rough. It's a.
You mean it has
full-
like an edge?
Yeah.
So when are you guys launching that?
Well, we're hoping that it'll be released June or July of this year. If Skip's listening, he may be laughing at that, but
You're going to take pre-orders.
we'll take pre-orders for it at the show at IPCPR in Las Vegas, and we're going to produce 10,000 sticks, which is
Wow.
about 500
Purchase it,
boxes. What's that?
It's just an LE.
Yeah, it's unlimited. So, it's obviously got a lot of excitement around it already. So
Yeah,
we'll
there's
see how it
already
kind of
been
goes.
already come out in the industry news.
The half wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, that was another thing I want to talk about. You want to talk about this too?
Sure, why not?
Why the fuck doesn't anybody get fired in the cigar industry? You ever notice that? If you go look on Half Wheel, nobody has ever been fired before.
It's mostly. You're right. It's mostly news about their new position.
Or when they leave, it's like we've agreed to part ways.
Right.
So and so has agreed to part. I mean, even Jack Toronio. Jack Toronio got fucking fired. There's no question about it. He got fired. There wasn't an agreement to part ways. Come on, man. That's ridiculous.
There was some story last week about somebody who was leaving from somewhere.
Yeah, they
CEO.
Either they chose to leave, or they part ways. Right?
Right.
It's
Nobody's fired.
It's never. This guy's a fucking mess. We had to get rid of him. He's not doing anything that we needed, and he's fired. Like, that doesn't happen. Why doesn't that happen in the industry?
I don't know. Is it Half Wheel's fault because it's the way they always write the article?
No, it isn't Half Wheel. It's the release that the companies give, like their
the
press release.
Oh, they're just
Yeah.
being nice. Nobody says anybody gets
We've
fired.
agreed to part ways.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And we'd like to thank him for everything he's done.
It's fucking lame,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah, and
It's
he's a tremendous help.
Tremendous
A
help.
major
We
benefit to
appreciate
this
his leadership
company.
over the last several
yeah,
years.
he's really, like.
Yeah, you should say, well, the company's tanking, so we're letting this man go.
just something.
Is that not known as the FO award?
The FO award.
Yeah, fuck off award. Is that
Fuck
not
off.
Fuck off award. Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I mean, if I'm gonna fire you, it's probably because you fucking. I mean, not that I'm a big corporation or anything, but it's like, well, the fucking guy's a liar. So I guess
They were out there talking after the meeting about how fast people have been fired during the meeting, before the meeting, after the meeting.
Oh yeah, because I've had times where we'd sit people in, but there have been times where I have had to let somebody go, where I fired them.
Is that the same, letting them go? Is that the same as firing them, or is that media talk?
I would say that that's more media talk.
Media talk.
But if I got to own it, I might as well own it. But like, I've fired people right before a meeting, and we've left on good terms. There have been other times where it's not possible just because of how it's played out. Like, you have no choice but to let them go because they've done something that is fucking terrible, whether it's been, stealing or skimming or, something of that magnitude, or just flat out lying, to you. Like, if that team mentality doesn't exist with that individual, then that person isn't a fit, right? I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. But when they get creative and they figure out ways to fuck you over, then they're fired. It's like, hey, you got to go.
I can understand on something like that, but do you ever things over here about unfair dismissal laws or anything?
Oh,
like
of course,
that? Yeah.
Of course. There's all types of stuff like that. But more often than not, if you document it, your terminations
because you did this
is justifiable.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, hey, you were late. Sign here, sign. So you can build a sheet.
You usually start building the
Constructive
case before
dismissal.
you let them go.
Right, and you can say, hey, look, now it's not working out. But so crazy.
Okay.
We've agreed to part ways. Here's their nice severance package.
But you'd like to thank them.
Like, thank you for your time, please.
So that's all I got for.
All right, that's it. We're just under an hour.
It's a great podcast.
It was. People have been complaining we hadn't had any guests lately. So
here we go. Michael Knight.
Michael Knight.
Your roommate.
Not from the reason I started following him on Facebook is, Knight Rider.
Because he was cute?
Yeah, he was cute.
I don't
and
understand.
He has a talking car.
Knight Rider, what does that mean?
Knight Rider.
Can you
Michael
explain
Knight
that
from
to
the
me?
Knight Foundation with the talking Trans Am.
Never heard of it.
I'm sure you get that all the time. I asked for questions from our listening audience, but there were questions like, what was it like to work with a talking car? Did the talking car ever upstage you on the show? Did you get to keep the car after the show? So we won't go to the questions.
All right.
So,
do you want to ask the 5 questions? Because you can't ask what's your favorite cigar.
Who would like to smoke a cigar with?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't do that. So,
all right.
Well, what's the best piece of advice anyone ever gave you?
That's a good one.
It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is where you go.
That is very true.
Very nice. That's a good place to end.
Absolutely.
Well, Mr. Knight, thank you for coming on, sir.
Been my pleasure.
We hope you have a safe flight home sooner than later.
And Mr. Palmer, thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Right,
we're gonna let you go now.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from the correctional institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1. To refuse charges, thank you for using T-Netics.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this show. This has been a Cigar Hustlers podcast. It's a Mike and Mike production, but in this case, it's actually a Mike and Mike production. Hey, you can follow the show on Instagram, Facebook, and the new YouTube channel, and you can check back every Tuesday for new episodes. I hope you do.